Welcome to this quick guide on using AppsOnAir's CodePush feature. In this video, we'll show you how to use CodePush in AppsOnAir. Let's get started by signing up. First, enter your email address, then verify it using the OTP sent to your inbox. Next, we'll collect your first and last name to complete the onboarding process. Now let's name your workspace. We can add Upload Android and iOS build, but we will skip it for now. Same, we will skip inviting team members. Click on Create App to get started. Just enter a name for your app and you're all set. We'll skip uploading Android or iOS builds for now. Navigate to the Code Push section of your app using the left-hand panel. If this is your first time using AppsOnAir CodePush, you'll need to authenticate your email. This is a one-time setup for each email address. Once authenticated, let's generate your deployments. This will create two CodePush deployments, one for Android and one for iOS. After the deployments are generated, copy the CodePush deployment key and CodePush server URL and add them to your React Native project. For Android, add them to your strings.xml file. For iOS, add them to your info-list. Here's a quick look at our documentation. It guides you through every step from installation to deployment, so you're never left guessing. So far, we've been following the account setup section. Next, let's install the CodePush package in our React Native project. If your project is using the old architecture, go ahead and install React Native CodePush. For projects using the new architecture, you'll need a CodePush next/React Native CodePush. In this example, I already have a project set up with the old architecture, so I'll install React Native CodePush. Now don't forget to install pods for iOS by running pod install. You might see an error here. That's because CodePush requires a minimum deployment target of 15.5. To fix this, just open your pod file and set the deployment target to 15.5 or higher. Now let's configure our project based on the architecture. For old architecture, modify the settings.gradle file as shown in the documentation. Then update your build.gradle file as well. Next up, open your main application file. If your app is in Java, follow the Java instructions from the docs. If it's in Kotlin, follow the Kotlin version. We've already added the CodePush deployment key and CodePush server URL to strings.xml, so we can skip that part. On the iOS side, open your app delegate file. If you're using Swift, follow the Swift setup in the documentation. If you're using Objective-C, follow the Objective-C version. Again, we've already copied the deployment key and server URL into the info-list, so we can skip this step too. Now let's call the CodePush sync function inside a use effect. This makes sure the app checks for updates whenever it starts or comes back into focus. Keep in mind, the CodePush import differs depending on whether you're using the old or new architecture, so make sure to import it correctly based on your setup. Right now, we're using the basic sync options, but you can customize them as needed. All the available options are detailed in the documentation. Let's install the AppsOnAir CodePush CLI. This handy tool lets you manage deployments and push updates directly from your terminal. Run the following command to install it globally on your system. Now that the CLI is installed, let's log in. Use the command AppsOnAir CodePush login. This will open a browser window where you can log in and copy your access key. Paste that key back into the terminal to complete the login process. To check which user is currently logged in, just run AppsOnAir CodePush Huami After logging in, run the following command to view all the apps that have CodePush enabled. AppsOnAir CodePush app lister. You'll notice that the app names listed in the terminal may look a bit different from what you expected. That's because AppsOnAir CodePush uses a specific naming convention, Workspace Name App Name Platform, where the platform is either Android or iOS. So don't worry, it's still your app, just formatted to follow this structure. Now let's build the project for both iOS and Android. Make sure you're generating production-ready builds, as these are required for CodePush to work properly. Before releasing updates, keep this in mind. AppsOnAir identifies each deployment using the format, Workspace Name App, Name Platform, so make sure to use the correct naming when pushing updates. Now install both the Android and iOS apps on your devices. If you followed along with my code, you should see the text "No Update" in the center of your screen. Let's update that text and push a CodePush update for Android. Once the update is pushed, you'll see it appear under the Android section of the AppsOnAir web portal. From there, you can disable the update or make it mandatory. Now let's change the text again and push a CodePush update for iOS. Just like before, the update will show up in the iOS section of the portal, where you'll have the same controls: disable or make it mandatory. Now, if you followed all the steps correctly, go ahead and restart your Android or iOS app. You should see a pop-up appear. This is the CodePush update being applied. Once it's done, your app will reload, and you'll be able to see the new changes live without needing to reinstall or publish a new build. And that's how you can use AppsOnAir's CodePush feature. Thanks for choosing AppsOnAir as your CodePush alternative. We hope you will enjoy using it. If you run into any issues or have questions, feel free to email us. You will find our email address in the video description. Thanks for watching.